Oh, I should probably retweet that we're live.
Hello, people. Hope you are all doing well this afternoon. Keeping yourselves all safe and loving FPL. Welcome to that FPL lounge. The doors are now open and you are all welcome to pop in and say hello. This is a show that lets you, the audience, get your questions answered not only by us three Muppets, but by whomever the guest may be who are live alongside us in the studio via our Discord. We'll get to know our guests a little bit better in a second, but I can't do the show all on my own, so please welcome the gruesome twosome that is FPL Boona and Matt. How are you?
You've run out of thingies, ain't you? You've run out of duos.
Oh no, I've got plenty of duos, but you never know who they are. How you both doing? You good?
Not too bad, yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. Well, we have a very special guest with us this evening. Don't really want to keep her waiting any longer, so will I get her on in?
Go on.
Well, you're going to do it anyway, so why even ask? But yeah, go for it, man.
Alright then. We are honoured to have alongside us this evening another one of FPL's finest females. Such a talented woman that when I list off some of the work that she does, I'm amazed she actually finds the time to even do FPL, and at that, compete at FPL at a decent level too, fluctuating round about the 100-200k mark. Better than us three anyway. Let's go through some of the stuff that this young lady gets up to. Modelling. She's also achieved her coaching badges and coaches kids at an FA level standard. Does a bit of TV presenting, started off in food and travel, but her heart was in sport and football in particular. Then started dabbling into TV broadcasting, working on Star Sports in one of their football tournaments, on ESPN in India, on cricket, but has also dabbled in broadcasting within the US Open and also the FIFA World Cup. Do you think that's enough? No, not for this woman. She also sponsors a cricket team and a football team and is involved in the scouting aspect to scout some talent for them both. She now also assists on podcasting relating to the team she loves the most in Newcastle United. Lights, camera, acting. It gives us the greatest pleasure to get to know the talented and wonderful British-Irish sensation that is Eisha Acton. Good afternoon to you.
That is the best intro I've ever heard in my life, I swear. Wow, thank you so much, and I'm really excited to be on and chat to you guys.
Not a problem. I think Boona had given you a kind of rundown earlier of how this kind of works. For about the first 5-10 minutes, we will get to know you a little bit better with the usual set questions that the three of us like to put to our guests. Boona has been inundated with questions from Twitter, and then we've got our normal live chat. Now, it's Matt's chat, so Matt will keep an eye on the chat and pick out some questions, and alongside yourself, Eisha, we will do our best to help those listening with any of their FPL queries. You down for that?
Yeah, sounds great. Can't wait to get into it.
Nice one. Let's kick it off then. Boona, do you want to kick off?
Yeah. So, I mean, I would ask you about what you get up to outside of FPL, Eisha, but Lama's just told us your life story, so we don't need to worry about that. But what I will ask you, Eisha, is who do you think's getting relegated this season, and why is it Newcastle?
Oh wow!
Really? Is that what you're going to start?
No, that wasn't the question.
5 minutes in,
I'm just
Boona.
joking, guys. So, where did the love for Newcastle come from? Was my real question.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a better question. Let's go with that one. Well, I've supported them since I was really young because of my dad, and he has always supported Newcastle. So yeah, there's no crazy story. It's just a case of inheriting, I guess, the love for the club, like many of us do with our parents. And yeah, I mean, I guess to start supporting Newcastle in the mid-90s is probably the best era you can start supporting a club. So yeah, that love for the club has just continued, and now I got into sports broadcast and I get to talk about it a lot more, and I love my club.
Perfecto, thank you very much. Matthew, you want to dive in, pal?
Yeah.
Do you want to give a quick hello to the guys in the chat first, Matt?
Yeah, go for it actually, Matt. Yeah, there's quite a few there. Not for us, like.
We've got in the chat, we've got Nihao, we've got FPL Snake, we got Sam Pillay, the Meme King, we've got Paulie, we've got Slizzy, Denver, James, we got Lolwat, Nasty Balls, Notorious, Maximus, and many more.
Nice one.
Hello.
Nice one. Good to see you all. Hello. Right, Matt, on you go. Crack in.
My main question is, how much time do you spend on FPL per week with all the stuff that you do?
I think Llama has made me sound a lot busier than I am, honestly. But how do I find time? I think what we were just discussing is that this season, to be honest, this season I've spent a lot more time on FPL just leading up to deadline day, as opposed to sort of making proposals during the week and like having a plan. Like, don't get me wrong, I have a loose plan mentally, but I don't really think about it too much until the night before the deadline. And I guess because of that, it's not actually consuming me during the week as much as I would like to, play around with my FPL team every single day. Given the nature of this season and all the uncertainties and the updates, I've just pushed it to the end of the week, and my Friday afternoon or Friday evenings are normally dominated with FPL related stuff, and that's how I do it. But I guess with anything, when you enjoy it, and it helps when you feel you're having a decent-ish season. And you know what FPL Twitter is like we're all sort of in it together, and like I know there's banter and I know we have fun, but I genuinely look for updates from other people in the FPL community. I'm like, oh, they're doing so well, that's great, or oh, he or she isn't doing well, and like I just feel like where we're yeah, that's great too. Where are the injections? Nah, not like that.
Yeah, you may as well avoid my Twitter then. There's nothing useful there.
Been chatting. Isha's probably been chatting to you a fair bit, Bruno, over the last couple of game weeks.
I'm just the chief entertainment officer.
You provide the FPL community quite a lot of entertainment, to be fair. I mean, you should be proud for that.
Yeah.
That's not what I want to be known as, but hey, look, if I can do that, then brilliant. I'll take it.
I was gonna ask you, Isha. I know you had kind of said there about how you fell in love with Newcastle. Don't take this as tongue in cheek, okay? But does your football team influence your decisions at all?
No, honestly, no. I mean, I have in my team this season, I've had Alan St. Maximin, I've had obviously Callum Wilson, but I haven't. I do get criticised sometimes by Newcastle fans. They're like, oh, hold on, where are the Newcastle players? But as you guys are aware, and it's nothing that I can deny, the inconsistencies we've had this season, it's just not feasible to be holding on to Newcastle assets.
Yeah.
We're just not consistent. We don't have a brand of football. We're having issues, obviously, with Steve Bruce, and with that, I haven't been taking as many risks as I normally would.
Okay.
Last season I was a bit more like, no, I need to have at least one Newcastle player. But this season, with what's been going on, I have avoided Newcastle players as much as it pains me. Yeah.
Wilson's a little troll anyway, I think, in my opinion. Every time I get him in, he always does bad, and if he's not in my team, he's scoring hat-tricks. So
yeah, it's very hit or miss with Callum Wilson. Yeah.
No, definitely. Boona, you want to crack on?
So, I mean, there's no denying your resume is a very interesting and full-on one, whether you believe that to be the case or not. But out of that, Isha, which of those would you say do you spend most of your time kind of focusing on, and what out of that do you enjoy most? And for example, what I'm referring to there is obviously you've done some TV broadcasting, you've done some of your own shows on YouTube as well. Do you see yourself having a future kind of down that path?
Like many other people that work in sports media, over lockdown, I sort of, I had this time on my hands and I wasn't able to travel as much as I normally do. Well, not travel at all. And my job typically entails a lot of traveling. So I do like to create I like to express myself creatively. And I happen to enjoy editing and I have equipment at home. So that's why I turned to creating content a bit more over lockdown, and I really enjoy it. I did see it, I guess initially I saw it more of a bit of a pastime, because I thought it goes hand in hand with my experience and my passion for sport and talking about sport and being in front of a camera. But I guess I'll keep that up, but with my experience in presenting or football reporting or whatever, I've done podcasts for different media outlets or channels. Yeah, I mean, that is the goal, just because I work so hard to get into the field. And if I'm creating content on the side, it will just help, because I'm not going stale, I'm staying fresh, and it helps nowadays, I feel, with presenters. Like, a lot more presenters are being employed with content creation backgrounds rather than, sports broadcast or journalism degrees that I've noticed on a lot more digital platforms. They are going for more people with an online presence. So if I can be in a midway point and it gets me more jobs, then great.
No, nice one. How did I was watching a couple of your content videos the other night there. How did you get on with the whole commentary piece? And is that something that you would be looking to do going forward? Like actual full-on commentary during games?
Yeah, I really enjoyed that, and I think I anticipated it to be a lot harder than it was, but I was co-commentating, so I wasn't. Yeah, and it was interesting because I guess in the past, when I first started, I started working in sports broadcast as a football reporter, and it was live and I was on the touchline, but it was still a little more concise. Obviously, the nature of being a football reporter, you need to be like punchy and short and concise with your updates. And that was the first sort of thing I did in sport. And I think to start with that kind of role in a chaotic environment, to move into other things, like after that I did presenting in like a studio, like that was with ESPN, and it was just such a controlled environment. I was like, wow, this is like a lot easier. And then I went, and then I guess now that I've tried commentary, I'm like, okay, this is definitely the most difficult thing ever.
Okay. I'd struggle with
I like
pure
the challenge.
See, you've made it so easy. That's why it was effortless to you. I would just struggle.
No.
I would just struggle pronouncing names, to be honest.
Names, yeah, I'm quite bad with names. I write names phonetically, and I've always struggled with names, especially when I was working in India a lot with the long names, and even like the CEOs or the sponsors or the club owners. I was like, oh my god, there was so much pressure to get. Like, my director was always like, you cannot fudge this up because this person owns the club. I'm like, whoa, okay, so I'll be like writing it so phonetically. But that's because with commentary, the worst thing is someone will always pick up, like on Twitter or whatever, like, god, this commentator, I can't believe he's pronouncing this name like this. It's one of those things that you really need to, the attention to detail is necessary. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I'd love to try it again, but again, I think when I tried it, I just thought this is good to add to what I've done so far, and it's going to aid me in a way but I don't know, maybe in like 5 years or 10 years time I'd get into it, but for now maybe I'll stick to what I'm really good at, well, what I think I'm comfortable with, and that's like presenting and reporting and those kind of things.
I wouldn't worry about your pronunciation so much. For example, Eisha, you know the Dutch midfielder who plays for Liverpool, who was linked with Barcelona at the start of the season.
Dutch Liverpool, who? What letter does it begin?
It's Wonderweldon.
No, just relax, Lama. Don't worry, you get a minute. How do you pronounce his name?
Wijnaldum.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, Lama, how do you pronounce the name?
I just no. I can pronounce it correctly, but Wonderweldon stuck because that was
Wonder World. That's so funny. Yeah, because one commentator always calls him Gigi, right? Or Genie.
That's
Gigi.
Hey, I'm down for that.
They get it wrong. Yeah, they always get it wrong. I can't remember who it was. But yeah.
If I can shorten it down to a couple of letters, that would be far better for me.
Abbreviate that.
Yeah. But no, next question. What other questions are you wanting to dive into?
So how did you get into FPL? Would be quite an interesting question to know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not one of those people that's been doing it for like 10 years, by the way, and I'm sure you guys know, like, I'm no expert and I'm no I'm no veteran, you know, but I seriously got into it, like, seriously, you know, not missing any deadlines, like, last year.
Mm.
And
what changed? What was the changing point?
Well, to be honest, I lived in India for 7 years, and the time difference with the deadlines, it was just, like, a bit hectic, and so...
Actually?
Yeah, that's where
What time period? From when to when?
From 2013 onwards. So I moved back to the UK like last summer. Not last summer, the lockdown, the year before last. Yeah.
Well, that's another question. What was that decision based off of? Like, what made you kind of move out there?
Well, I graduated from uni and I knew I wanted to like see the world and travel, and I've been modelling since I was like 8 years old. So when I graduated, I'd done a lot of like beauty pageants and stuff, and I knew my agent would be able to get me a contract wherever. And I said, I want to try and go to India because, I mean, I am half Indian as it is, and I just wanted to go there. I knew the advertising industry there is enormous. And because I'm half Indian, obviously, I'm taller and I fit into the market there. So I went there, and when I was there, I told my agency, well, I had like someone who would book my jobs, and I told her, I was like, look, I love talking, and I know if you get me any presenting jobs, I will kill it. I know, because I'm comfortable in front of the camera and I love talking. And I was just like, please get me a meeting at like a sports channel. And she was like, okay, this is never going to happen, but I'll try. So she got me a meeting at this travel channel, and I did like travel presenting, which was really fun because in India, it's like there is just so much culture and so many festivals and so many events and so many different types of food, and it was fun. But there
we go, food's there.
Food. Yeah, I had to try so much food on camera, and some of it, like, I can't really have spicy food, so on a number of occasions I was just like, I had the best poker face to camera, like, this is fantastic, I love it, and deep down I'm like dying, like my eyes are watering, my nose is running, my mouth is on fire, and I'm like, fantastic, brilliant. And then that happened a lot. But yeah, while I was doing that, I was like still telling my talent manager, look, I need to get into sport, I need to, because I'm into sport and I always have been, and I follow games, and it was just like a natural thing. And she was like, okay, I'll keep trying. And then she got me a meeting at this sports channel where they needed basically a female, they wanted a female to report at all the games for the Indian Super League, which is the football league in India. And so she got me the meeting, and then, I guess the rest is history, because there were so many auditions and so many like screen tests and all of that. And then I signed to do that league, and then that was with Star Sports. So then since then, I've always done like football for Star Sports. And then a couple of years after that, I signed with ESPN, but that was for all other sports, like, you know, US Open, FIFA World Cup. It was like studio stuff. And also I had to go to events for the cricket and like do interviews and stuff. But yeah, it was mostly cricket. Yeah, mostly cricket really for ESPN.
So when are you going to host the IPL?
Well, yeah, that would be great, but I don't know, because even now, I mean, that would be cool. I'd love to. The thing is, like, when I signed with ESPN, they had just sold the rights to Star Sports. So with ESPN, we were kind of limited as to what we could broadcast based on the IPL, because the rights are very limited and they're very strict about that there. We still managed to do stuff and have some really cool like guests come in, like Graham Swan and Sean Tate, and like loads of cool guests like James Faulkner. So that was fun. But that's pretty much the story.
Oh, nice one.
I like Paulie in the chat.
Yeah, Paulie.
Makes my life sound boring as fuck.
Polly, don't worry. You've still got years ahead of you, young man. Don't you worry yourself. We've got a few more here, Isha, and then we'll dive into what the kind of Twitter sphere and our own chat are obviously wanting to know about, basically. So, Matt, do you want to ask your usual question, young man?
What type of FPL manager are you? Are you more Maverick or are you like contemporary?
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 Yeah, that's a new word for me, isn't it? It's
Do you mean
on the
that?
calendar for the day.
I think of myself as like when I'm making decisions, I tend not to be influenced at all, and I tend to just go with my gut. And that has paid off this season, where I've been stuck on a decision and I'm like, you know what, this is happening. I'm not going to be influenced by FPL Twitter or whatever, or even experts. But when I log on to FPL Live, I'm like, freaking so, like, you know that template percentage thing. I'm like, it's always so high. I'm like, what the hell? I thought I was like doing something different here. Like, I'm looking at mine now. It's like 81% very template. What the hell? So yeah, I'm a basic bitch, supposedly.
It's not necessarily a bad thing. You're 81% and 211k. I'm 37% and sat at 700 plus k. So it's not necessarily a bad thing.
I didn't know you were that bad. Like, in terms of template rating. I thought you still had quite a high template.
No, I don't know. It just changes randomly. I don't know what made that change. Literally, the smallest of changes, and if no one else has got that player, your template rating drops.
That's
So how many
crazy.
differentials do you have now? Because the differentials, they have that star symbol, don't they?
Okay, actually, I'll tell you right now.
Oh,
Yeah.
you
Have
feel
a
like-
look.
Yeah, because I mean, I've got someone like Foden in, and I'm still 81% template according to that.
So I have got.
I've got
I've
3
got 5.
differentials.
I've got 5.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, that'll
there we
do it.
go. Yeah, that is safely not template. Bloody hell. How is Gundogan still a differential?
That's crazy.
That's mental.
So
Yeah.
I think, so like what you were saying there, Isha, about Twitter and trying not to let Twitter influence you, we speak about this almost weekly, I must admit. You know, people... Twitter obviously only makes up a very small percentage of like the 7 odd million that are actually playing FPL, or I know a lot of them are maybe dead accounts kind of thing. It's hard though. How do you manage it? Like, how do you manage not to get influenced by the Twitter bubble that's out there? Because I still find it quite hard, even 3-4 seasons in.
Yeah, the thing is, when it's about a specific player night, for example, like if it was about, like, a lot of people come to me for Newcastle updates on Newcastle assets, right?
Yeah.
So if there is a Twitter account and, you know, I'm mulling over Harry Kane and I have a Spurs fan on FPL Twitter who has got a really strong, compelling argument for or against him, I will admit I'll be swayed by that, just because I know that person, that's their expertise, you know, they know about their club, they know who's being rotated or started or whatever. But I am a lot better this year, I have to say. Like, last year I'd easily get influenced. This year I've come to realise that there's a lot of carnage in FPL Twitter. People lose their minds, yeah? Leading up to the deadline, I mean, people are saying all sorts of crazy stuff, and if I'm set in stone, like, you know, the night before a deadline, unless, of course, you know, there are leaks and spoilers from all these accounts that like to fuck with our heads, I'm likely to just stick with my instinct.
Yeah.
But I have got better this year for sure. I think maybe because I'm just a bit more, a bit more confident in my decisions, and I'm a bit more prepared to deal with the consequences. Whereas last year I'm like, no, oh my god, FOMO, can't do that.
Yeah.
With saying that, can you just run through that little philosophical you did before we went live on air to me and Boona about early transfers? Because that kind of blew me and Boona for 6 when you spoke a lot of sense.
I don't know if this is like, I'm pretty sure like this is the mindset of many other FPL managers this season, but what I was explaining was that ordinarily I would, you know, the game week would finish and I'd be so either excited or negatively fueled by making transfers because I've had like a bad game week and make my changes and really plan them. But this season I've not done that once. Like I've absolutely always made my changes or made my final decision the day before deadline or the deadline day itself, purely because of COVID updates, because of, you know, how uncertain it's been this season. And because of that, I think it's good actually, because I'm loosely planning what I'm going to do during the week, but I'm not physically playing around with my team and getting a bit too like I used to enter this zone of overthinking, and last season I would do this a lot. I'd enter that zone on like a Tuesday or a Wednesday, and by the time it comes to Friday and Saturday, I'm like, whoa, I've gone into overdrive, and my decisions are like, what is happening? Like, am I seriously considering this? So yeah, I've been a bit more clearer with my decisions this season just by making the decisions later. And yeah, I might miss out because of price increases and decreases, but so be it. I'd rather do that than have a Friday evening COVID update or an outbreak, or, you know, you hear news now. We pretty much know, I guess, by Friday what is going on. And if I'd made any changes before that, especially with European games during the week, I just don't see the point of that. So yeah, I'm very last minute this season.
It makes so much sense you saying that, but I can hold my hands up. The amount of times I've transferred someone in rage, or out in rage I should say, then the person that I've brought in's went and got injured during a European game, and before I know it I'm a -8 just to fix the mess that I got myself in. So I'm already pissed off with the game week that I've just had, and now I'm already staring a -8 down the barrel as well. So no, I totally get that.
Ahead of me. What a joke.
What's that?
I said, and somehow you're still ahead of me. I am having a
Well, that's just how the cookie crumbles, I'm afraid, mate.
crumbled, mate.
So we've got a couple more questions, Eisha, and then we'll dive into what the public are saying, or asking, I should say. Buna, you wanting to ask your usual one, and then I'll finish it off with the usual.
My usual? What's my usual?
Oh,
I think it's mine, isn't it?
The towers.
Usual.
It's the if you're in charge of FPL Towers, would you change anything about the game? Like whether it's hits or points or
Well, before you answer that, Eisha, what's with the accent, Matt? If you're in charge of FPL,
I've noticed this. I've noticed this.
Well, ironically,
Siri.
the last time I asked
Boris Johnson, calm down.
Siri.
guys are taking a mick at me, like being comments. I was like being ironic.
No, I like it. You could have a career in voiceover artistry. Who knows?
Exactly.
Siri has entered the chat. I was like, wait, where's Matt gone?
Yeah. Oh, that's your new nickname, FPL Siri next season.
Yeah. So the question is, what would I change, like in terms of like the rules and the setup of like the FPL game, right?
Yeah, if you were head of FPL Towers, if you were to change anything, what would you change and why would you change it?
I mean, it's interesting. I think I prefer this season with the change in the deadline as opposed to like last season. I was kind of in favour of that because it's like we have to make our changes a lot earlier than last year, right?
Yeah.
And I like that. I don't know. That's a really good question. I have to think about it. What would I change? To be honest, I know what I'd change. You know, this is more of a technical thing. You know, the app is very slow to update, and if I didn't have FPL Live, I'd be pretty clueless as to what's going on with bonus points, with rankings, or whatever. So
yeah.
I think the only change I'd make is just keep that like a live update of your overall rank or whatever. Because I rely a lot on FPL Live as opposed to the actual app.
No, that's fine. You were in charge and you could change whatever you wish.
Wait, can I change another thing? I just thought. Yeah.
Of course.
I want to have more than 3 players from each team. I don't think that maximum is good enough. Like of 3, I want to have 4.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Right.
Yes.
Now, for this last question, you need to put yourself in this situation. All right.
I think that's actually a really good point, actually, because there's not much advantage to be had over someone else because everyone's still on the level playing field. So it just means teams like Newcastle, Fulham, West Brom are in the mud though, because no one's going to touch them with a barge pole, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you put it so nicely, Boona. But yeah, no, that's true. But then
Before we
they're
do
more.
go on to the last question, Newcastle, Isha,
Yeah.
what is your stance on Newcastle this season? Where it's gone wrong, all of that stuff. Where are you on that?
How long
and
you
someone
got?
also had we've got as long as you need. But I know your Boona's getting ready in half an hour, so I know we ain't got long. However, so that's the question. Someone also asked in the chat earlier about the takeover from the Arab guy. Did that excite you at the time? And what's your whole stance on Newcastle?
Bruce and owners and
Well, perhaps if we start with the takeover. So
Yeah.
the takeover was drawn out over lockdown, when we were at home and we didn't have much else to talk about and there was no football being played. And that, I have to admit, I was quite confident with, more confident than I should have been. And I was like, the promised land is within reach. I was excited. I was feeling very positive about it because I thought there's no way it can't happen because Mike Ashley has been trying to sell the club for a long time. It's the perfect deal. The consortium involved with the Reuben brothers and Amanda Stavely and the Public Investment Fund in Saudi. This is great for us. This is the best thing that can happen for us. When it didn't happen, it was really, really tough for me because as it stands, I have been through Rafa Benitez, having to step away because we couldn't extend his contract. Steve Bruce has replaced him. Okay, you tell me, has he? Is that like what? I thought it was a temporary thing at the time. I thought, okay, maybe Steve Bruce is going to stand in. There's not many managers out there who are free agents and can fill the boots of Rafa Benitez, but maybe Steve Bruce will be here for a while. We are still with Steve Bruce, okay? The club is unsold. We have an owner who is battling it out with legal proceedings with the Premier League. We have Steve Bruce who is going to stay until that's resolved because there's no priority with Mike Ashley sorting out the Steve Bruce situation. His priority is just selling the club and getting rid. So Rafa Benitez is now a free agent. He's left China, I believe. And would he ever come back with Mike Ashley in charge? No. It's just a rut and we're stuck in it. And it's been like this for about a year, because it's been a year since the first bid and the deal sort of started processing for the takeover. And as it stands, a lot of fans are saying, keep hope, the takeover can still happen. Am I optimistic about it? No. What's the reality? We could be at risk of relegation. We are with Steve Bruce. We cannot grab points. Fulham have improved their form. Brighton are playing better football than us, although they can't score goals. Callum Wilson is injured. Miguel Miron's injured. Alan St. Maximin is injured. It's a terrible time, and I can't even lie. It is a terrible time. Like, I cannot believe we've reached this point now, given that over Christmas, I was like, you know what? Not happy with the football being played, but somehow we always... We manage, I don't know, we milk it somehow. And with someone like Callum Wilson, very promising. Even Ryan Fraser, we made good additions. He's injured. We were overly reliant on him, and still we weren't producing enough goals as it was. So right now, with those front three injured, right now with Fulham improving, right now with Steve Bruce every single week receiving that heavy criticism, and he won't be sacked. I know he won't be sacked because, like I said,
though, isn't he? He's snapping in the interviews.
He is. He's getting very defensive, and he's fighting his corner. And it is his boyhood club. It is. All those sentiments are there. Does that mean he has the tactical or technical abilities to keep us afloat? No, I thought maybe he can do enough to keep us mid-table, but we have plummeted down the table, and it's really, really worrying. We couldn't beat West Brom. West Brom have conceded the most goals in the whole Premier League and the whole of the league, and we couldn't even score. It was a goalless draw the other day. Yeah, now we're taking on Villa.
That's another team to add to the list of teams that have somewhat, even marginally improved in comparison to Newcastle.
Exactly. When Big Sam came on board, I was like, okay, cool. I mean, they're they're addressing issues, they're getting someone on board, they're trying to sort of get into this safety zone. Have we done that? Have we had the wake-up call? Have we had like a moment of realization at any point? No. Is it going to come now with how many games have we got left? 10, 11 games? No. We're 1 point away from the relegation zone. Honestly, like, I feel really pessimistic about it. And it's just the takeover. It's a huge factor of it. Because if it had gone ahead, or at least if Mike Ashley had got somewhere positively with the legal proceedings with the Premier League, I could see light at the end of the tunnel. I'd be like, you know what? Next season, we could get Rafa back. We don't know. Like, come on, Saudi-led takeover. Opportunities would be endless.
Yeah.
What's the reality of it? Mike Ashley, disinterested, wants to sell. Steve Bruce, unable to even manage a team, even with good talent. Now with those injuries like Callum Wilson, Alan St. Maximin and Miggy Almiron, I really don't know where we're heading, but it doesn't look good.
Question for you then, the state that you're in at the moment, with Rafa obviously very much unlikely to come to Newcastle just because of his bad relationship with Mike Ashley. If you could change anything right now and you could change a manager, would you? Do you think it's too late? And if you don't think it's too late, who would that stopgap be?
Well, yeah. I mean, do you mean to say, like, if Rafa didn't have those issues with Mike Ashley? Like,
so putting Rafa out of the equation, if you could have any other manager right now, even if it was only until the end of this season, do you have kind of someone in mind, or do the fans, from what you know, have managers in mind that they would love to come and just finish the season off with?
So Eddie Howe, his name has been doing the rounds for a few weeks now. Personally for me, I would take anyone over Steve Bruce, and I'd love Steven Gerrard.
I can't play FPL anyway, so maybe I'll be a better real life manager. So
yeah.
You did say anyone, but yeah, no.
Anyone, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say no to Eddie Howe. I wouldn't say no to Steven Gerrard. I'd bloody love that.
Oh,
but then
that's a downgrade for Steven Gerrard right now. Come on.
Yeah,
I'm in Scotland and I felt that up here.
But Eddie Howe, I think he'd be a great match for the club at the moment, especially given that there's a few players he's worked quite well with as well.
That's the thing. The Bournemouth connection is there, and he really has to be commended for Bournemouth's rise to the Premier League and the sort of football they played in order to get there. Yes, they were relegated, but I do think that he worked miracles there with them. And I just have the feeling he already has that bond with, we've taken on half of the Bournemouth team. And I think with that cohesion and the historic, like Ryan Fraser and Callum Wilson, that strike partnership was insane, and if they could reach those levels again, it would be fantastic. They do need direction though, and we lack serious direction. Any brand of football, any cohesion, any sort of tactical direction, there's nothing right now. We're directionless, and you can see that. I
think that's the thing as well, is if you do get someone in pretty quick now, then I think you've got more than enough time to, that bounce back ability that usually ends up happening if you get a decent manager in. Lo and behold, I bet you half the injuries are like players all of a sudden aren't injured anymore, and then before you know it, you start leapfrogging again. But if you leave it right to the end, by that point it's probably too late, So
yeah, you're right. And the thing is, with Mike Ashley does want to sell the club, and that's a fact. And he's been trying to sell it for 3-4 years. The thing is, like, if he was to, of course he thinks about these things, but the commercial value of us being relegated to the Championship and him trying to sell us in that state, surely right now he should be in panic mode, and I don't feel he is. And because if he was in panic mode right now, he'd be like, whoa, the value of the club is in jeopardy here, we need to make some changes so I can actually sell for the price I wanted to. I mean, as it is, who's selling clubs in the pandemic? Who's doing it? So it isn't an easy time for him to sell, and this is someone who is money hungry and money minded. So I would have thought it would reach the point of, that emergency sort of, you just have to look at the points table to realise it's an emergency. But the financial implications of us being relegated alone should be a wake-up call
Well,
for Mike Ashley.
exactly. Because as you rightly say, if Newcastle get relegated, the value of the club just plummets.
There is something to look forward to if they do get relegated. The potential for a tyne weird derby.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, dear.
Don't even mention the S word to me. No, I'm joking.
Right, Eisha, put your mind in this little situation here. So, it's the final seconds of a Champions League final, and you are through on goal, 1-on-1 with the keeper. You're about to lace the ball with your boot when out the corner of your eye you see your strike partner standing there. Now you know that if you pass it to him or her, surely they're not going to miss, because the keeper's 1-on-1 with you. It's an open goal. However, Eisha, the ball is at your foot. So what are you doing? Are you smashing or passing?
I'll smash it.
Oh, there she is!
The thing is, like, I'm not that good at football. I mean, when I played football when I was younger, there's nothing to write home about, I swear. They always put me in goal because I've always been really tall. But in this situation, like, I've had to practice a lot because I coach children, right? And I need to demonstrate a lot. And I have a bit of confidence in myself to smash it in. Yeah, I'd take that shot.
Brilliant. No, nice one. Right, let's delve into the people's questions. I think, Buna, what I'll do, and Eisha, if it's okay with you, in the background, what I'll do is I'll bring up your team as it currently kind of stands now. And just whilst the boys, Matt's picking out questions for the chat and Buna's asking you stuff from Twitter, in between time we can kind of help you out if you need help, but it's probably us that need help, to be honest, with the state our teams are in.
No.
But yeah, you can talk us through your team as well, just whilst we're getting some questions in from the live chat, and then Buna, I don't know if you just want to kick off now, pal, if that's easier, on the Twitter stuff that you've already got, mate.
Yeah, awesome. I actually received a live question on WhatsApp from one of my WhatsApp groups from Tom, and he goes, question for Eisha, favourite ever FPL moment?
Oh, favourite ever FPL moment? It's hard to pinpoint one, but recently there was a game, and okay, I'm a big fan of Martinez. Martinez stays in my team throughout anything, okay? And he's a bonus points magnet. And I can't remember the exact game, but it was a really unlikely situation, but the bonus points were mental. What was it? What game was it? He made saves. I don't think Villa even won the game, but he got a lot of he got a lot of points in that game, and it was probably that's probably my best FPL moment, because against all odds he still manages to get a lot of points, and I freaking love him.
Yeah, even when they're getting beat, Martinez is still getting points.
It really ties in with a question from FPL Twitter, Eisha.
Okay.
And his name's Big Sam. Big Sam.
I know who that is.
You saw this question.
I didn't see his question, but I know who he is.
Okay, so he asked. So
wait, is this about Villa? No. I don't want to hear this. He's always trolling me.
So firstly, there's a GIF, and it says, "Be honest." and the question is, will she enjoy the Villa double clean sheet?
He's talking because I've got Target in my team and I've got Martinez in my team. Yeah, no, I won't. Honestly, like, I don't know if it's the same for you guys.
Unless it's a 0-0.
I mean, it's not going to be a 0-0. It's not going to be a 0-0. But yeah, if it's a 0-0, fine. But if not, I don't tend to check my FPL if I know that Newcastle, if Newcastle have produced a result in which my FPL suffers or even does good, I just don't tend to check my FPL because I'm more focused on, I guess, the trauma induced from a Newcastle game. So yeah.
I think the advantage you've got this weekend is it's the first game, so at least you can just put it to bed early.
Oh, that's not a good thing. No. You know what? I would take a Sunday game. It ruins it. Yeah. It can, honestly. I'm not a fan of Friday games at all, and I'd like to think that it's out the way.
I had to bring in Target myself. I brought him in today just because Aston Villa are ruining my season. So I mean, I'm ruining my own season, but they're ruining my season.
So we've popped your team up there. I don't know if you're watching this, but I can read it out anyway, just for those that are listening whilst they're doing the hoovering or the dishes or driving home. But you finished off on 73 points, 2011k. And I know you're
2011k.
211k. Yeah. But no, obviously having a really sterling season, and I know you were in the top 100k
You had to
as well.
put Sterling in there, didn't you? Sterling season. You were ridiculous.
Rub it in.
Do you see? You see what I'm doing here?
Listen, don't even try to act like you did that intentionally. Okay.
So as you've already said, Martinez in goal, bagging you 7 points. A 4-4-2. Stones with 1, Diaz with 2, Pereira with 2, Target on 6. Your midfield 4, Gundogan captain on 20, Fernandes on 10, Salah there with 2, Rafinha with 2, and up front you have the Spurs man in Kane on 19 points and Bamford on 2. So whilst Matt's digging out a question from the live chat, what's your plans going into the next game week? Eisha, what are you keeping it, or are you changing anything?
The thing is, like, if I could enforce that new rule where I can have more than 3 players from my team, I would happily get in Kevin De Bruyne, because honestly, that is an issue for me. I really want to get in Kevin De Bruyne, but then first things first, I really want to captain Kane this week, and
okay.
I base my team around who I want to captain, in a sense, you know. So if I was to get in Kevin De Bruyne, I'd be like, oh my god, no, I need to captain him. But I already sort of know that Kane loves the North London derby, and I don't know. My gut is telling me to captain him. Therefore, I will keep the City players as they are. Although I got rid of Luke Shaw for Stones, this week. And that was a terrible decision. In hindsight, I thought, City are on the double. I need to get in another City defender. It seems the right thing to do. I missed out there big time, because obviously Stones didn't start the second game and came away with a 1-pointer overall. And Luke Shaw, oh my god, kill me now. Anyways, moving on. I think it is time to get rid of Salah. And
oh wow, okay.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Does last night's performance not change that decision though? I didn't watch it, but I'm hearing Fabinho return to the midfield, and they looked back towards them, kind of their old ways of playing. Yeah. And it is wise, I guess, to take note of these midweek performances. And Fabinho, of course, is a really valuable asset and will help Salah create those chances and, just build on his goal tally despite what's going on at Liverpool right now. But if I do want to get in, I really want to get in Gareth Bale. I really want to get in Kevin De Bruyne. And obviously with Kevin De Bruyne, if I am playing around with that, I do need funds, and I don't see. I can't have Salah there as well as Kevin De Bruyne probably. So, and also that's another thing. Like Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I don't know if I've got enough patience to keep hold of him, if I'm honest.
Oh, you and I could have a debate about that for the rest of the night. I've still got him in my team just now. He was on my bench up until about an hour before we went live, and now I've dropped Foden. And I've just stuck Foden on my bench first to play DCL against Burnley, and that is his last chance. He's getting shifted to Antonio next week. Okay,
because the thing is, I obviously benched DCL this game week, and I wasn't quick to get rid of him because of the Burnley game. And you're right. It wouldn't be wise for me to get rid of him before a fixture like that. So perhaps I'll just keep him there. But I guess the priority really is what am I doing with Salah, and am I going to miss the Gareth Bale train? Don't like missing a train. You know the train I missed last season, the Pookie party, and I live in regret. Yeah, I don't want to live in regret. I want to jump on that train and be like, I'm part of this journey. And sorry, go on, carry on.
But
what are you guys doing with Gareth Bale? Like, is this like what? How long is this form going to last?
I'm bringing him in next week.
Next week.
Yeah, not this week because I've got Sterling, unfortunately. But the fact that he didn't play last night, I'm going to put the armband on him at the weekend. Until he gets me that haul, he shall stay. But what I was going to say was, I don't want you guys to feel bad and stuff about DCL, but he's not scoring this weekend. Sorry. I've got Pope in goal, and he's due a clean sheet, so it's coming this weekend.
Well, in that case,
Spoke's already let me know. He was on the blower to me last night.
Oh,
He said,
okay.
yeah, no, it's coming.
You've been
11
saying that for the
points.
last few
Oh,
games.
well, cheers for the heads up.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Cool, I'm what do you call
Inside scoop.
them?
Yeah.
There we go. Those. Yeah. ITK.
Matthew, what is happening in the chat? Because I've been aware that it's been scrolling since we went live. So I know you'll have picked out a few questions alongside Buna's Twitter sphere ones. Any that you've stuck out to give?
We've got Maximus Winter, and his question is best under 5 mil defender. As we're talking
Under
about defenders.
5 mil. I mean, Luke Shaw's 4.5 now. I
No,
mean,
he's not 4.5. No, he's around the 5. He might be just under 5.
well,
He's not 4. He's still under 5. Yeah. He's
I'd
a
have to
great
go
pick,
for
isn't he,
him.
Really.
Oh, absolutely, Luke Shaw. He's phenomenal. I loved owning him. I rid
Why'd you get rid of him then? Why'd you get rid of him?
for a Stones masterclass, mate. That paid off.
It wasn't a bad pick, let's be honest. I mean, it was United away at City in a. Oh, was it a double? Did they have a double?
United didn't have a double. Yeah, that's what
No,
put
exactly.
me off.
I mean, I
And-
think
City defenders usually always do well in double game weeks, apart from this one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
can't
mean-
believe it. The one time I actually
Yeah.
he does.
the chat coming in, he's 5.1 at the moment.
Oh, is he?
But your targets is still at 5. Dallas is still at 5. I don't know if any of these are due a price hike, by the way.
It's
Konza,
4.6.
yep. My wee favourite player there, Aina. He's never been off the bench since I got him, but he's sitting there at 4.5. Yeah, there's quite a few there.
There's quite a few. Yeah, I'm going through them now. So.
And I think Aina, especially having the fixture as well.
Yeah, and with their improved form. I mean, I had who have I had? Some Fulham assets. I had like Mitrovic. I've got Lookman even right now. But yeah, Ina's a good shout, and his form is pretty decent. I think. Yeah. Oh yeah, Bednarek when he got that red. Oh, to be fair, okay. So I own Lewis Dunk. And I don't think he's a bad shout. I mean, he's a good option on the bench. He's 4.9 mil. And I got him in on my wildcard. And
he's a guaranteed clean sheet in 29.
Well.
yeah.
Oh, Bruno, you're ruthless.
I'll just shut up.
He doesn't even hold back either. Actually, Bruno, what else is happening for Twitter while Matt dives through other
so
chat
we've
questions?
got a few more questions. So we've got
Just
Shiri
conscious
Ram
of time
asking,
as well.
Yeah, we got Shiri Ram asking, is it time to get off City's defensive bandwagon?
That's an interesting one. A lot of people, Eisha, seem to be moving from double City defence to double City midfield. Is that something that you might do yourself, or?
Yeah, I mean, like I mentioned, the thing is, if I couldn't figure out a way to get in Kevin De Bruyne, it would probably be Riyad Mahrez, and I couldn't let go of Gundogan.
No.
So I would steer towards, strengthening the midfield with City assets rather than defenders. I think, I mean, up until now, they've served me really well. It's just with the rotation, and I'm never going to captain a defender. That's not my style. But I do need my good 6 points sitting there, at least from a couple of my defenders every week.
No, that's fair. That's fair enough. That's fair. Matt, I've just seen what Tony's just put in there. You seen that? Dawson's also a solid pick at under 5 million. His aerial threat is really huge, almost as huge as Buna's rank gap.
Oh my god!
The chatter
I'm
out.
hiding him on the channel.
Yeah, I'm just hiding him. Yeah, Matt, what other questions you picked out?
I was going to say we'll have this final one from the chat 'cause I know Aisha's got a go soon.
Yes. Okay.
It's your favourite Newcastle game ever.
Oh, there's a belter.
Ooh, well, there was one in 2010.
Oh.
And was it 2010? Yeah, basically we beat Aston Villa, and Andy Carroll scored a hat trick. Do you guys know what game I'm talking about?
I think I do remember 2010, not a problem. 79 myself, so.
I've slept since then.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we it was a pretty special game. So 6-0, and it was 2010, and Andy Carroll was in his prime. And yeah, I guess that's a standout.
6 goals.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Blood.
Mental. Six.
I got to look that up.
And his man bun never even got in the road of any of them.
Yeah.
But no, you want to dive in and pick out another couple or one, whatever, from Twitter, and then we'll wrap things up.
Twitter.
Cool.
One more question from Twitter and one from WhatsApp. So the question from Twitter was, I have a question about Chelsea rotation regarding Alonso and Chilwell. In your opinion, is it only because of Champions League matches? And are Aspi or Rudiger safer options for Chelsea defence? I mean, I could answer that they're definitely safer. We know that. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, you're probably not asking the right person here. I mean, since Tuchel came on board, I had Chilwell. I wasn't sure about what's going on with Mason Mount, and I've sort of just tried to get to.
You're fuming.
No, I'm just trying to get to grips with who is their trusty starting 11. So yeah, I wouldn't want to say just in case it's wrong, but yeah, it seems like you know more than me on that. I think Rudiger. Yeah, I was going to get in Rudiger last week actually. I wasn't sure on what's going on in their European football situation, but yeah.
He's been their best centre-back, so and he's played like 6 or 7 games in a row, so I would imagine that was merely a rest, if I'm honest. But yeah, that was that question. And then we had a final question from WhatsApp from João Romero. Biggest question of the moment is to address blank game week 29 and the blank in 33 for some teams as well. In your opinion, and if you've given it any thought, what's the best to use free hit? And how many players is it safe to go with in blank game week 29 to avoid red arrows?
Ooh,
quite a lot in that one.
Yeah, I mean, see, when I used my free hit chip, I went from, that's when I entered the 200,000 region, and I've not left since then, so it is absolutely imperative that your free hit... So is he asking, on your free hit, how many playing players should you... How many? What is he asking about?
I think it's every one. Sorry,
when would you suggest using the free hit 29 or 33? And if he wasn't to use it in 29, how many players is it okay to go with to avoid red arrows? So yeah.
I mean, 9 a push, I guess, if you're not using your free hit. Otherwise, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I'd have 9 playing players and feel okay about it. If I can't believe anyone still has their free hit chip, but okay, cool. Whoever does, then good on you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd have 9. It depends. If you have been working towards it, then you're fine. But if you've just sort of suddenly remembered this week about it, then you can't do much but just play 9 players and hope for the best. And if you still have any other chips, you can still make up for it, like triple captain or whatever, at some point. I still don't know when to use my triple captain. I need to figure that out at some point.
Oh, I've been there, done that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I managed to bag Gundogan for 57 points.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but what rest of your team,
Eisha had him that week as well, didn't you, Eisha? You had him for captain. Happy Valentine's Day.
Yeah, that was the best Valentine's Day ever. I was like, oh, yeah, get him.
Yeah,
I and we are very conscious of time, and I am the last person that would want your dinner getting cold, Eisha. So I just want to say, on behalf of everyone that's joined us live, or if you're listening back, thanks for listening. On behalf of everybody, I just want to say thank you very much. What a privilege having you in on the show. However, before we do all skedaddle, where can everyone find you? You can obviously use this to just do a bit of self-promotion to let everyone know where to find you, etc.
Oh, well, firstly, thanks for having me on. This has been great banter. I love it. Secondly, I guess you could follow me on Twitter, and you can follow me on Instagram as well if you want. On Twitter, it's just Eisha _Acton_ and on Instagram it's Eisha Megan Acton. So yeah, I use those two the most, although I'm on a bit of a sabbatical and I've been on a digital detox. But yeah,
I remember watching that because you mentioned that in something I watched the other day there, a little digital sabbatical.
Yeah, I kind of gave it up. I mean, like, I always give up for Lent. I always give up like sugar or coffee or whatever, and then this when Lent came around this time, I was like, you know what? Like, I'm pretty healthy. Let me just give up something that, yeah. So I decided to have a digital detox, and I come online like 10 minutes every day, but I've avoided posting. But otherwise, yeah, I'm pretty regular with posting pictures and tweets or whatever. So yeah,
Super.
you guys can follow me on there.
Nice one, superstar. Thank you very much for that. Boona, are you wanting to wrap things up and just let everyone know what we're up to the rest of the week? Because I know you were working furiously this afternoon and you've managed to rattle some lineup for this London derby at the weekend.
Yeah, no, that's a very good point. Yeah, so firstly, Eisha, thank you very much for coming on. It's been absolutely brilliant chatting to you.
Oh, cheers.
And thank you for the guys that have tuned in to watch us live. Really, really appreciate that. If you're new to the channel, usual applies. Please do consider hitting that like button, but more importantly, subscribing so that you're made aware when we next go live, which is Sunday morning to start with. So those regular to us will know that on every Sunday about 11 o'clock, we go live doing a paper talk session, going through the paper headlines and assessing the game week so far. And also Sunday from about 4:15 p.m, about 15 minutes prior to the North London derby, we will be going live doing a watch along throughout the North London derby. Matt being an Arsenal fan, me being a Tottenham fan, this is going to be absolutely gut-wrenching. However,
Carnage.
we're also being joined by some absolute brilliant special guests from Twitter, so Baker343 and CY, who host the Above Average FPL podcast, who are both Spurs fans. And we've got the FPL Plonker podcast, Aaron, joining us to help Matt support Arsenal. So it should be quite a vibe. If you're interested, please do join in. Other than that, I wish everyone the best for the rest of the week and the game week, and we will catch you soon. Take care, guys.
Super.
Bye.
Nice one. Cheers.
better sounds no one ever heard. I wish I had a better voice to sing some better words. I wish I found some chords in an order that was new. I wish I didn't have to rhyme every time I sang. I was old when I could go to all my music drink, but now I'm insecure.